The arrest comes nearly 7 weeks after the students were found stabbed to death in a home near the University of Idaho campus. Police in Moscow, Idaho will hold a news conference later this afternoon. And CNN's Veronica Miracle is live in Moscow, Idaho with the very latest. Veronica?
Well, Amara, as you said, those federal sources telling our CNN's Josh Campbell and Mark Morales that an arrest has been made.
Evan Debs.
We understand that at this point it is a man in his 20s, but beyond that, there are very few details coming out at this 1 p.m. today. They would not tell me any further details, but just for context, this is the first press conference that the police department has held in weeks.
B-Boy
We
Void lives
understand that
monster.
this is going to be obviously a major development where they're going to be
Sled Mantis, thank
talking
you for the
about
5
that
gifted.
arrest.
It's
But
Lil
it has
Botany,
been
thank you for the
nearly
5 gifted.
7 weeks since the murders happened here at this home behind me, and you can see actually today another monumental day here at the crime scene that has been very relatively quiet over the past few weeks. There is a cleanup crew here cleaning this house today, and it's going to be eventually turned back over to the property owner. And so we understand that so much is happening here in Moscow, and the police department making this big announcement today. And it also comes on the heels when two families are going to be holding a celebration of life this evening in Coeur d'Alene. It's about an hour and a half away from here, northern Idaho. Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves, they were the best of friends. The families have been planning this for a couple of weeks now. They're going to be holding it at a local church, and certainly there's going to be a lot for the families to be discussing tonight. Amara.
And Veronica, I know you've been following.
This is where I went to college. Only 30% of the students came back after the murder. Shit was dead. My brother still lives there. My family just would ask us a ton of what happened like we knew. Well, I mean, the fact that the cops were just like, oh, did people die? Oopsie. I guess that's kind of sad. Yeah, it would be cool if we figured out who fucking did it, but maybe they just did it to themselves. Like they had such a callous attitude about the entire thing that like that probably did not instill a lot of confidence in the security of the area. You know what I mean?
Doing this story for weeks now. Can you talk to us a little bit about just how these murders have impacted the community, how we've got to this point, and also the fact, that investigators have been quite tight-lipped about any new development. So this is obviously, a huge development that we're hearing today.
Certainly coming as a shock because, as you said, they have been so tight-lipped this entire time. Nearly the full 7 weeks, there has been very little information released, and I think that's why some of the families, at least one of the families, have been very outspoken. The Gonsalves family, really just frustrated with the lack of information. But the entire time, police were telling us and the public that they had strong leads, that they had a lot of information coming in, and that they were trying to keep the information close to protect the integrity of this investigation. This happened again 7 weeks ago. 4 students murdered. The coroner says that they were likely murdered in their sleep. Some of them had defensive wounds, and so it appears that they were trying to fight off the attacker. It happened in the early morning hours after a night of partying. One couple, Xana Kernodle and
the suspect stole a fucking car and they still couldn't fucking find him for this long. He didn't steal it. Apparently, the suspect was asking for advice on Reddit, pretending like he was asking for criminology advice. Apparently, the dude was parked on the road behind them, and that's where they saw his white Hyundai. Don't know if national news said that, but local news printed it. Oh, he was a grad student there. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Ethan Chapin were at a party at Sigma Chi fraternity. It's not far from here. It's really in walking distance. And the other couple, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, the best of friends, they were out at the Corner Club. It's a bar in the area. They all came back here and were all home by around 2 in the morning on that early Sunday morning. And what happened between 2 a.m. and noon when that first 911 call came in, well, that is still a mystery, but we hope to learn more today at that press conference. Amara.
All right, to be held at 4 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate your reporting, Veronica Miracle. Thank you.
Last night.
So, Bryan Kohberger, 28, is in custody in connection with the Idaho murders. He was studying a PhD in criminology 15 minutes from the scene. Earlier this year, he canvassed Reddit for criminals willing to share their tips. It was part of a research paper for his degree and was presented as trying to understand the psychology of a criminal. He does look like a Redditor. In May, Kohberger took to Reddit to ask criminals to complete an anonymous survey about how and why they break the law. Hi, my name is Bryan, and I'm inviting you to participate in a research project. In particular, the study seeks to understand the story behind your most recent criminal offense. Questions included: did you prepare for the crime before leaving your home? Why did you choose that victim or target over others? And what was the first move you made to accomplish your goal? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your home? Why did you choose that victim? After committing the crime, what were you thinking and feeling? He also asked how criminals leave the scene and when they acted alone. In the context of a criminology degree, the survey may seem perfectly innocent. It gains harrowing sinisterism in light of his arrest on suspicion of a quadruple homicide today. No one from the Kohberger family or university has commented yet on his arrest. What the fuck? It remains unclear if he knew any of the 4 victims from the November 13th murders or why the police suspect him. Kohberger's, however, believed to drive a white Hyundai Elantra, the same car Moscow cops have been looking for weeks. Also, his sister was a neighbor to the people who got murdered. Could be a motive or at least tie him to these people. Another thing local news said. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. All right, let's watch the police.
Tonight, in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, on a warrant for murders of Ethan, Zana, Madison, and Kaylee. I want to personally thank these agencies for their assistance in this case. Kohberger resides in Pullman, Washington, and is a graduate student at Washington State University. We will provide as much information as we can about the extradition to Idaho and the criminal process. However, due to Idaho state law, we are limited in what information we can release today until Kohberger has his initial appearance in Idaho court. I want to express my appreciation to our local community, the people of Idaho, and those throughout our nation who provided information to help us investigate these murders has been very impressive. We've received over 19,000 tips, and we've conducted over 300 interviews. To recap this case, on the evening of November 12th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at about 1:56 a.m. after visiting a local bar and street food vendor. Ethan and Zana were at the Sigma Chi house before arriving home around 1:45 a.m. The 2 surviving roommates had also been in the community but returned around 1 a.m. On the morning of November 13th, a 911 call was made at 11:58 a.m. reporting an unconscious person at the residence. The call came from inside the home from one of the surviving roommates' cell phones. Moscow police responded and found 2 victims on the 2nd floor and 2 victims on the 3rd floor. On November 17th, autopsies were conducted and the Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 victims. The cause and manner of death was homicide by stabbing. Some had defensive wounds, and each had been stabbed multiple times. These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process. This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time, and we stand assured that the work is not done, but be assured the work is not done. This has just started.
This guy called in to a true crime video podcast to play an absurd cat and mouse game with amateur investigators and apparently didn't work. What?
You know, the one thing that every single one of them I feel like has asked me is, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you get away with it? And
Wait.
I live in a college town, and I've worked with probably at least 10.
It's not confirmed it's him? Okay, never mind. I don't care.
Sigma.
Then I'm not going to watch it. If it's unsubstantiated, if it's not confirmed that it's him, then I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. Because, like, here's the thing. Gen Z has a major, I would say, more unique obsession with true crime than like the previous generations. Every generation has had an obsession with true crime, but like Gen Z especially so on TikTok. So they play detective all the fucking time. So a lot of things that are unsubstantiated will unironically get like a lot of play. It will get a lot of play from all of the amateur sleuths that think that they're doing a better job than the cops. Bro, you watch JCS for months? Yeah, but JCS for the most part is not about like an active case. JCS looks at previously investigated crimes. Like I'm interested in watching like how interrogations are conducted, and when I'm looking at it, I usually cover mostly the cops' behavior. I don't do internet sleuthing, which I don't even have an issue with overall if it's for like good fun, but I do think that like there's an additional element of people, you know, thinking that they've uncovered stuff and then spreading misinformation. I have time and time again talked about like the Boston bomber, for example, you know? I'm a local, and there's a huge difference between JCS watchers and people actively speculating on an active case, treating it like a game of Clue when real people died. Exactly. Do you think the whole true crime thing is unethical? No. No, I don't think it is. There are many parts of the component. There are many different components, that I have covered that I personally think is unethical about like the way the internet sleuths operate, where they get out of hand and they start like doxing random people that they believe personally are involved with the crime when the person is not involved with the crime. That sort of shit's really fucked up. Like they do it all the fucking time. Ironically, also on Reddit. Best example is none of the Dahmer victims' families giving Netflix permission to make that show or giving them money or getting any money, you mean? Speaking of which, what's fucked up with the TikTok Jeffrey Dahmer groupies? They showed up thinking the dude is sexy for eating black and Asian dudes. Y'all weird? Yeah, I mean, that's disgusting. I don't understand that. But that is like as old as time itself. TikTok has only played a role in accelerating that. People used to write letters to Charles Manson and shit, man. People have always fetishized murderers for some weird reason. I don't know what it is. Mental illness.